What was your welcome to Kansas moment?
That first meeting when we all walk in, we all get on campus, and Coach Self just keep it right real with you. Like, I don't care what you did last year. I don't care what you think you are. I don't care what you think you're gonna do. Like, this is what I do. This is how we win. And if you listen to that, then you can go somewhere else. Pretty much. I think that was like oh, okay. Well, I better listen and do what I need to do so I can play.
For playing in a Final Four, like most people don't understand how serious that is. When it comes to a Final Four, there's 70,000 people there. What's it like playing in a football stadium full of people? Like, what's that environment like?
I mean, you can't even describe it, bro. That job was unbelievable. And it's crazy that it was in San Antonio and now I'm here in San Antonio, which is ironic. But, your nerves is just running wild. You're excited. Can't sleep before the night before the game. Then you run out the tunnel. It's like nothing you've ever seen when you see all the KU fans. It was, you feel me? You really can't describe it unless you're really running out that tunnel to that crowd. So
Dad used to tell me all the time. Son, don't worry about the mules, just load the wagon.
Today's episode is brought to you by Factor Meals. Super excited to be partnered with Factor because I use them all the time. I love Factor. It's a quick, easy, fresh, healthy, chef-prepared meal. Allows me to be at the top of my game for longer. It's healthy. It's hard to find fast food that's good for you. Factor's the way to go. Do you use them a lot?
I use them a lot, and when he says fast food, this is the fastest food you can get. You don't have to
100%.
drive anywhere and go to a drive-thru. I mean, you pull it out of your fridge and you poke a couple holes in the film, put it in the microwave 2 minutes, and it's ready. They're just fast, easy. Get me going in breakfast. Get me going at lunch when I'm having a hard day at work or a fast day at work. They're easy, they're healthy, and they taste really, really good.
Head to factormeals.com/rockchalk50 and use code rockchalk50 at checkout for 50% off your meal. That's right. Head to factormeals.com/rockchalk50 and use code rockchalk50 for 50% off your order. Head there now. I love them. Chris loves them. Support the pod. Support Factors. We love y'all.
Appreciate it, Mitch and Chris. Before we get back to Rock Chalk, I got to tell you guys about the best way to make money on sports. I've been in search of the best way to fire on sports for the last year or so. I've tried every sports book, all the different apps, but Prize Picks is the best way to make money on sports. On Prize Picks, you pick players and not teams. Each player has a set total stat projection. So let's say Patrick Mahomes has a higher or lower than 220 passing yards. If you think he's going to have more, you just click on more. When it hits, you make a bunch of money. I just hit a 4-player pick 'em last night, 10x in my money, $100 to win 1,000. And the best part is you can go to prizepicks.com/rockchalk and use the code rockchalk for a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/rockchalk. Use the promo code rockchalk for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Who knows what you can turn that $100 into? I turned mine into 1,000 last night. Let me know what you do in the comments.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Rock Chalk Unplugged. I'm Chris Teahan, along with my co-host, Mitch Lightfoot, and we got a special guest for y'all today. First team All-American, Big 12 Player of the Year, Devonte Graham. Devonte, how we doing?
What up, my boys?
Devonte, great to have you on. I wanted to ask you a couple questions that was on most people's minds lately in regards to the NCAA's sanctions against KU. They came down and vacated wins from the 2018 season, which is obviously very important to all of us because that was the year we all played together. You put us on your back that year and took us to a Final Four. What does that mean to you? And do you think that those wins still mean a lot to everyone in Kansas Nation and to us players?
Definitely means a lot. I mean, obviously, I feel like everybody got screwed. But you can't take those wins away from us. Taking away the fourth straight. Like, we were there, we did it, we accomplished it, and it's like, I mean, if they, in their eyes, they can take it away, but at the end of the day, we all know, what we did.
And hey, I still got my ring. I don't know if you guys still have your ring until they take that away from me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I still got my ring too. So you can't
Can't touch it. Can't
Well,
touch
hey,
it.
we'll get back to the Kansas stuff here in a minute, but I kind of want to go through chronologically. Your story is really, really interesting. I mean, you played high school ball out in Raleigh, and you commit originally to you were Appalachian State, right?
App State,
Yeah,
yeah.
App State, and so then you decided you wanted to get out of it. They wouldn't let you decommit, so you go take another year, go to Brewster Academy, do great there. Kind of, what was your outlook at the end of the year at Brewster? Were you really like, okay, this was the right choice
To go to Brewster?
to go to Brewster and just to kind of be like,
Oh,
hey, like I'm not going to go to App State. I'm just going to bet on myself. Like, give me another year. I can prove to everybody that I'm better than that.
Absolutely. That was probably one of the best decisions I made in my life. And go there and play with those guys I played with and play with Coach Smith. It really got me ready to play at Kansas. That was no question that was like the best decision as far as basketball goes.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a 3-star recruit at the beginning, and you go to Kansas. What was your outlook on kind of what you thought your career was going to be when you committed to Kansas? Were you like, hey, I'm just going to go in there, try to get as many wins as I can, get out? What was kind of your thought process? Like, what was your idea of your career going on?
I had no clue, bro. And when I first committed, I was just like happy just to be going to, a prestige school like that in basketball. I was just happy to be there. That was a major jump, obviously, from App State to Kansas. So, like, I was excited to get to campus. I remember my visit with Wayne and everybody, Ed Tyler and all those guys who was there, Frank. So, I was just excited to be around those guys and obviously the coaching staff. So, I didn't think I was going to play when I first got there. And my mindset was just, go in, work hard, and see what happens.
Who was the guy that took you under your wing when you got to Kansas? Like, who's that guy for you that was really your mentor?
It was definitely Wayne. I would say it was Wayne. I mean, he hosted me on my visit. So from day one, I kind of, you know, bonded with him a lot. Jamari flew in there, Evan and Tyler did their thing too. So, I mean, a lot of us was close, but I feel like Wayne, definitely probably the main guy.
What was your welcome to Kansas moment? I mean, we all have ours. We ask everyone who comes on the podcast, but when was that, either that first practice, first play that you were like, okay, things are a little different here?
It was the first meeting, man. I tell people, that first meeting when we all walk in, we all get on campus, and Coach Self just keep it right real with you. Like, I don't care what you did last year. I don't care who you think you are. I don't care what you think you're gonna do. Like, this is what I do. This is how we win. And if you listen to that, then you can go somewhere else. Pretty much. I think that was like oh, okay. Well, I better listen and do what I need to do so I can play.
And obviously, your career, like you came on strong your freshman, sophomore year, and you really took off your junior and senior year. How much did it mean to you to stay for those 4 years and to really invest in the program and everybody there, I think, invested in you?
I mean, it meant everything. I mean, I never thought about really being a 1 year, 2 year guy, then going to the league anyway. So, my biggest thing, my mom always wanted me to get my degree. So, like, that was big on my mind. And then, as much as Coach Self, all of them invested in me and wanted me to be great, it made me stay. I talks about even after my junior year. But I had a terrible game when we lost to Oregon. So, like, that played a big part in. I owe this school, I owe this program a lot. I don't want to leave, with bad thoughts in my head. I don't want to leave with bad thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. No, that locker room afterwards, that was one of the more somber environments I've ever been in. Obviously, it's Frank's last game, Landon's last game, Tyler's last game. Like, those guys had put so much into this program, and to see them sad and down after that loss, that for me personally, that did a lot for my outlook on basketball and my outlook on how much these guys really care about Kansas and care about the guys around them, the coaches. So I think you're absolutely spot on with saying that game impacted a lot of decisions for a lot of people.
And I think too that like that's kind of the common theme with Kansas basketball. Like you look at when we won the national championship. I mean, our 2021 year was just awful. I mean, awful. And then, like everyone who came back, they came back for the sole reason that they felt like they let the university down. And I think that would you say that that fueled you? I mean, you already said it fueled you for the next 2018 year, but the next 2018 year, I mean, that was hard year. Like that really the first part of the year, people were talking about us being the worst Kansas team that they put on the floor in so long. What was that kind of the motivating factor to like keep playing? I mean, yeah, we lost 3 games, and they're sitting there talking about we're the worst team to ever step foot on court. Like people calling for Coach Self's head, and then going to the Final Four. But yeah, let me hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, bro, it was definitely a struggle at first. I mean, I remember Coach Self was the worst team. Like I can't believe it was crazy. I don't know. I told the story before, but I don't know if y'all remember we was at practice and it looked so bad. Like I was so mad. I just went to the other end of the court and I was crying. Like and Coach walked down there and to me, it was like, bro, what's wrong, bro? This shit is bad. We don't know what we're doing. Nobody cares. Like everything about Kansas, you gotta care. Like everybody say, you rip open a J gonna fly out. Like you gotta have that care about the program, the fans, and stuff like that. We didn't have energy, so I was just real frustrated. But it ended up being
No, good. You're good.
Okay. Ended up being obviously we turned that junk around 3 degrees. Like nobody expected us to win it 14 straight. Nobody expected Final Four, and it ended up being one of my best years.
And that's kind of where I was getting at with that question. I was going to follow up with what do you thought the turning point was. I remember that practice very vividly. We're going to go play Texas. I can't remember if it was down at Texas or we're playing Texas at home. I think it was down at Texas, and yeah, it was like over Christmas break. And I saw you go to the other side of that court, and that's kind of when like the light. I mean, you can say Doak's head, like the light kind of turned on in Doak's head. The light turned on for like Marcus Garrett. Malik started playing really great. Like obviously not right away, but it did change kind of the outlook that our team had. Where it's like, okay, our best players sitting there and kind of questioning us as a team. Like, what are we gonna do? Are we all gonna scatter, or are we all gonna get fist tight? And I mean, we went out there, and every grimy game you could possibly win after that was we got it. Yeah,
we had to.
Yeah.
We definitely turned that shit around, man. It was great to see, feel me? Because it would have been terrible to go out bad like that my senior year. So I loved every moment of it.
For playing in a Final Four, like most people don't understand how serious that is. When it comes to a Final Four, there's 70,000 people there. What's it like playing in a football stadium full of people? Like, what's that environment like?
I mean, you can't even describe it, bro. That job was unbelievable. And it's crazy that it was in San Antonio and now I'm here in San Antonio, which is ironic. But, your nerves is just running wild. You're excited. Can't sleep before the night before the game. Then you run out the tunnel. It's like nothing you've ever seen when you see all the KU fans. It was, you feel me? You really can't describe it unless you're really running out that tunnel to that crowd. So, I mean,
it gives me like a newfound respect for college football and NFL players. Like, 70,000 players, like 70,000 people there. Like, makes
everything.
I don't feel that was as special. Don't get me wrong, but there's 16,000 people in there. Like we were in the Alamo Dome. There's 75,000, 80,000 people in there. It's a little bit different, which is super special.
Just a little bit.
A tiny bit.
When you in Allen, it feels like it's like 75,000.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
It gets as loud. Yeah, it gets as loud as 100. But DT, so you obviously our Final Four game that year didn't go the way it planned. That game doesn't count anyways anymore, so that never happened. Don't have to worry about that one. But would you take the Final Four game against Villanova or our win at Texas Tech to kind of like you make that shot? That's really to clinch 14 straight. Was that your favorite? Like, was that your favorite game at Kansas?
Wait, you said would I take?
What was your favorite game at Kansas?
Would you go back and relive the Final Four again, or would you go back and relive the Texas Tech?
I mean, really not relive that game again. We were down 20 at halftime. I'm gonna go with Check winning 14 for sure. Favorite game though was against Buddy Hield and then with triple overtime
Yeah.
at house. Oh yeah,
Talk about that game a little bit. Hey, Buddy was going crazy. We still ended up getting the win. Like, I don't know, like, there's not a lot of teams that can get a win when a guy on another team has 46 points. Like,
No other
yeah,
team.
Buddy was going berserk, unstoppable. But I mean, basically number one versus number one because we were number one in one poll and they was number one in another poll, and that was just like an instant class. Like everybody was playing well. Everybody, both teams making clutch shots, clutch free throws, and obviously down the stretch we get the game winning stop. Frank get that steal. So I mean that game and the comeback thing is like
Yeah.
right there. I don't know which one to pick, but them two definitely my favorite at the field house.
in my eyes, like I said, the West Virginia game because I was there. I had a front row to that thing.
Yeah.
Between the legs, pull up. We were down, coming back in the second half, man. Definitely.
Crazy.
Place was jumping. It was the loudest indoor arena ever. Guinness Book of World Records. Like,
that's when we set the record. That game, I think.
yeah, it was. Like, couldn't hear yourself think. Like, crazy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what was Coach Self saying at halftime of the OU game and Buddy's going crazy? Like, is it more of like all right, this guy's having a crazy game, or like, what the hell, can you guys not guard this guy? Like, what does he say at halftime?
A little bit of both, but he challenged. He's gonna challenge us to every time. Like, you can't guard this guy. All right, who are we gonna put on this guy? Like, he'll look at KT and be like, "Who do you think we're gonna? Who can guard this guy?" So that's what he was on. Like, he was trying to challenge us defensively, and it was nobody who was really guarding him. Frank did a pretty good job, but I mean, he still had 46.
It's crazy.
The thing about Coach Self, like, Jesus could be down on the basketball court and he could be 20 for 20 from three, like, just literally supernatural power. And he'd come to the locker room and be like, "We have nobody who can guard this guy. Seriously, we have a bunch of soft dudes."
What the hell are you guys doing? You can't guard him?
You're right. Exactly.
Devonte, speaking of Coach Self, I wanted to ask you, what is your thoughts on playing for Coach Self and then going and playing for Coach Popovich? Like, what are the similarities? What are the differences? And obviously, how do you enjoy playing for Coach Pop?
Man, they're super similar. Like they both are on you. They want what's best for you. Like, but on you hard, like to a point where you can't do nothing but respect it. And they actually like they care like about their players and like what's going on in your life. And like it's more than basketball. Like every day we walk in, Pop, he got something on the board, that's not basketball related. Like something that's about the world or something that's about what you should be doing in your life, which builds you together. And I think Coach Self does that in his own way as well, where he give his quotes about things that's bigger than basketball, bigger than your whatever the case may be. So, but they're on you hard, and like you're supposed to go to the free throw line and V line back out. Like he makes sure you touch that free throw line before you go out. Like that's how him and Coach Self are. So I think they both very similar.
What were some things that Coach Self taught you at Kansas that you really keep with you today? Like, even when you weren't playing on the Spurs, I know Coach and Pop are really, really similar, but like when you got to Charlotte, what were certain things that you learned from Coach Self where you're like, okay, these are things I got to keep in my mind to make sure that you have the career you have right now? I mean, you really dogged it out. So what were those kind of things?
I mean, he used to always say, like, I smile, but like in my heart, like I'm a killer type shit. So I would always keep that. Like I've always been like smiley, go lucky. I'm always happy, but you gotta have that killer instinct. And it's not about you. That's a big one. I just said that. It's not about you. It's always about the person to the right of you. So like just making sure everybody around me is good, whether that's with family or whether that's with my teammates, and just trying to make everybody better. And I feel like if everybody making everybody better, then I'm getting better. So that's what I try to.
I wanted to ask you, speaking of going from KU to Charlotte, what was the adjustment like between college and the NBA? How did you take that adjustment?
I definitely my first year was rough. You go from, like you said, I barely got out of games when I was in my senior year. All American, whatever the case may be. Then you go to DNPs, which did not play. Like bench, jacket on, like going down to the G League. Obviously traveling was a big adjustment. Like flying here, flying. Wake up, practice, wake up, hotel bed. Like all of that was a huge adjustment. Um, Weight training, different. Pretty much everything, bro, except for like the pace of the game. It's fast, but it's kind of slower in a sense. Um, and I think that was another adjustment for me. The pace of the game, being a point guard in the NBA is rough. It's a tough job to do. Maybe you wake up, you got to guard Urban one night, turn around, guard Lillard, turn around, guard Kemba Walker, practice. Like it was tough. So, I just took it slow and tried to learn from Kemba and Tony Parker when my rookie year.
What was the moment where like the switch flipped in Charlotte and you're like, all right, like I kind of like figured it out. Like you had a great season, your second season. Like what was your moment where it all kind of flipped?
Appreciate it, Mitch and Chris. Before we get back to Rock Chalk, I got to tell you guys about the best way to make money on sports. I've been in search of the best way to fire on sports for the last year or so. I've tried every sports book, all the different apps, but Prize Picks is the best way to make money on sports. On Prize Picks, you pick players and not teams. Each player has a set total stat projection. So let's say Patrick Mahomes has a higher or lower than 220 passing yards. If you think he's going to have more, you just click on more. When it hits, you make a bunch of money. I just hit a 4-player pick'em last night, 10x in my money, $100 to win 1,000. And the best part is you can go to prizepicks.com/rockchalk and use the code ROCKCHALK for a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/rockchalk. Use the promo code ROCKCHALK for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Who knows what you can turn that $100 into? I turned mine into 1,000 last night. Let me know what you do in the comments.
I was we call them PD coaches, our player development coaches. They my guy, his name was Nate Mitchell. We used to watch film all the time together, and like obviously my role when I got in the game, it wasn't to be a scorer or wasn't to, whatever the case may be. It was like, okay, come in, get Kemba the ball, make plays, don't turn the ball over, and make sure you're plus minus when you come in. Plus, like, you can't come in and they start winning or whatever the case may be. So that was my whole mindset. And one time we came in and he was like, you don't not shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? You're not even looking for him. Like, you got to be aggressive. You got Kemba in front. The organization is looking for somebody to be a backup to Kemba. Like, when Kemba comes out, we need a mini Kemba to come in. So then once I started kind of thinking like that, and I was going to the league, and I'm trying to do everything that Kemba do, come off the screen, shoot, get in the paint, finish, floaters, and started. Actually, I was scoring, averaging like 23 that in the G League. It kind of made me more aggressive, and I think that's when like the switch flipped, and I had maybe like 15 or something in one of the games. I moved up from the G League, and I just kind of took off there.
And so let's move back to draft night, going to Charlotte. I mean, you were a great player in college, no doubt about that. But when you're kind of in your spot of the draft, like you didn't really know exactly where you were going. What was it like when you got picked? Was it a sigh of relief, or was it more of just like, hey, I made it. It didn't matter where I got picked.
Oh, no, it always matters. That was for my agent, a big thing for my agent. Like doing those workouts, he was putting me on teams where it fit where he thought I was going to draft it. So like, my agent was telling me you can go anywhere from 28 to 55.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work out with the teams that could possibly draft. Did like 16 workouts for those teams, and then draft. I had my whole family. We rented out a hotel, like, and just had like the DJ in the bar, and like that. Good time. But no, it was definitely a sigh of relief. Like, as soon as my name got called, like, I was sitting looking at my phone because my agent told me he was going to text or call before I got drafted. And so I'm like, okay, well, another pick coming up, and I didn't get drafted. And I think Javon Carter and Jalen Brunson right before me.
Yeah.
So, like, I was just like, I'm like, okay, damn, maybe I fell down a couple of spots, and I ain't getting drafted. As soon as they called 34, they might went off, and the whole room just exploded, and y'all just started praying. Me and my mom, and that it was party time.
When you figured out that it was Charlotte, like, did you have any
Yeah.
idea? Like, was it like, all right, there's a 50% chance I'm going to Charlotte, or is like there could be
I got-
any of these teams?
So I got drafted to the Hawks.
Oh shit! Yeah.
You're right. I forgot.
It was like we started partying and jumping around and doing all that, crying, taking pictures, and Skinny came up like, "Yo, you going to Charlotte?" I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" He was like, then he showed me the phone of the tweet, like, Devonte Graham, Hawks trade Devonte Graham to the Charlotte Hornets. And then when I seen that, I'm like, oh, I'm going right up the street. Oh, it's
double
lit.
lit.
I got even more excited. One of my uncles had on a Charlotte Hornets hat. He gave me the hat. I put it on like I was at draft night. Like, it did. Yeah. It was perfect.
So I mean, you go through your first year. Your second year, you start playing a lot better. Was it your second year that you hit the longest game winner in NBA history, or was that your third year?
No. Was that? No, that was like last. That was 2 years.
That was 2 years ago. I thought you were in Charlotte.
No, I was with the Pelicans.
Oh, you were? Okay, damn. All right, but okay.
Yeah.
So what was like the time? I mean, you signed your second. Okay, let me rephrase this whole question. What was it like? I'm sorry. I know I was reading up on that shit today. And I forgot that you had I didn't know that you still legitimately had the record. Like, you beat it by 6 feet or something.
Longest game winner.
Yeah,
NBA.
longest game winner. But so what was it like? I mean, everybody in the NBA, when you play in the NBA, you obviously get drafted. You have your first stint, and that first stint is pretty common. But then you look at the amount of people that get a second contract, and you signed a pretty decent second contract. What was it like where you kind of you signed that and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be a staple in the league for at least the next 3-4 years?
Oh man, it was a blessing, to be honest. Like you said, going into Kansas, my first year, okay, not gonna play. By years 2 and 3, it's like, okay, I got a chance. Year 4 is like, okay, I can actually make it to the NBA. Then I go back, start off, and year 1 is like, all right, I really played G League. Year 2, I was supposed to be coming off the bench, a couple injuries, and I come in and I fell, and then next thing you know, I'm starting and got a starting role. Then I just took off from there. Year 3, when we got Melo, so then obviously he steps into that role of being the superstar that he is, and then Charlotte's like, okay, well, have 3-point guard. Now we got Melo and Terry Rozier. We're probably not gonna pay you. We want to, but we're gonna pay you a little less. And I'm like, okay, well, take less money home, or do I sacrifice $6 million? It's like, I'm going to go to New Orleans and take this. So.
Hey, that $6 million would get me to move anywhere right now. I agree with your decision on that one.
You can't pass up on $6 million, man. So, yeah.
Devonte, speaking of your first contract in the NBA, what was the first thing that you went out and bought and thought, hey, this is the special thing that I'm doing for myself?
For myself, I bought my Jag. I bought me a car, but the first thing I ever did was buy my mom a house. So I was in debt before I even started getting my checks, because like my first thing was make sure my mom is okay. Like obviously everybody know the relationship with my mom, and she had me when she was 14 and all of that. So we ain't go over that though. But yeah, that was the first thing I did. I went out and told my mom, pick a house, and got her a crib.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool.
There's got to be. I mean, like you didn't do that for yourself, but you did that for yourself. I mean, like that's got to be your lifelong dream. Was that like Was that felt better to buy your mom a house than it did to go buy your Jags and go buy your dogs or whatever else you do with the rest of that money? That has to be the most important purchase of your life, probably.
Easily. Not even close to nothing that I bought, for myself or whatever the case may be. Like, I didn't buy my first house until I got in New Orleans. So it was 4 years into the league before I even bought myself a house. That was like priority number one, is make sure mom's is straight.
Devonte, I wanted to transition a little bit to talk about your time right now with the Spurs. Obviously, the biggest name in sports in basketball is Victor Wembanyama. What's it like playing with him? What can you tell us about his game and how he plays the game?
Man, biggest name going on right now, definitely, man, and it's well deserved. Kid works hard, bro. Like in the gym today, we got shoot around. We play at 7. He one of the last people to lead the gym. He in there grinding, working, doing one-on-ones versus coaches, all types of stuff. But it's just 7'4", bro. You can't coach some of the stuff that he be doing. Like the way he grab the ball and turn and just dunk the ball like without jumping, be crazy. Like, I mean, he's gonna be a special talent.
Did you guys? I mean, I'm sure you've seen the video, but the video of him dunking on Thomas Bryant. What was like the locker room saying about that? Because Tom, I mean, he has like an all-time great reaction. I mean, he's sitting there like looking at the crowd,
what do I do?
What happened?
He was like, "Oh my god, like you can't do nothing, bro. His arm's too long, like, and he just catching the ball and he just casually just break shoot over people, and people be contesting, thinking they gonna spot the shots. Like, you can't do nothing but foul.
It's almost like Kevin Durant. Like you can't really block his shot.
Yeah,
it's like Kevin Durant, but you added 4 inches to his height,
right.
and even more to his wingspan. Like watching him play, like it almost feels like you went and took the 2K sliders and took them all the way up and made like an alien. Like it's crazy.
That's what they call him. He made the tallest guy ever on 2K.
Okay, so outside of Victor, because obviously I know you can't guard Victor. No one in the league probably when he starts going. Who is the hardest dude? Where like you're walking into a matchup and you're just like, no, like tonight's gonna be a long one. Who's the hardest dude in the NBA that you have to guard?
Top two guys would be Steph and probably Kyrie.
Yeah.
Would you say with Steph, like it's just because he comes off so many screens and you just gotta chase him?
It's a tiring night. Like you gotta make sure you ice and well rest the night before, because like he's more dangerous without the ball. So like usually your man pass it, he goes stand in the corner. You can help defense shift. It's like he passing it, and then next thing you know, he's in that corner. He's in the opposite corner or the opposite wing. Like, and everybody's looking. Go screen for Steph. So you're running through 4 or 5 screens in one possession, and then you got to come down again. He might have the ball, pick and roll, come off, pass it, or run off 3 screens. So it's just like, but Kyrie obviously is more ISO.
Shift.
You got to buckle up. Yeah, you got to lock in. But his handle, he's so crafty ways, so.
Would you
I wanted to ask you one more question about this. I got one, Chris.
All right, you got it.
I want to ask you one more question about this year's KU team. What are your expectations for them? Obviously, they got some big names there. Hunter Dickinson, Kevin McCullar's back, Juan's back. What is your expectations for them? And do you guys follow along with KU, like even though you're playing your own games in the NBA?
Of course, we got to keep up with the squad, man. You know that. I only know like a couple of guys that's left though. Like that I've actually like. I mean, I went there this summer, but I didn't know none of the new guys. You know, the expectation, you know, they never change. Like obviously, have a winning season. You know, the pieces are gonna fall in place, and you know, Juan said they're gonna win a chip, man. So I just hope I could be there to see it this year. You know, I want to be in the building. It was in New Orleans when I was in New Orleans and I couldn't go because we were all the way in California. I was pissed.
Sick. No, that's one of those. You're in practice that morning. You pull a hammy. You're like, hey, give me that. Coach. They slide out.
I asked my coach if I could buy a private jet to fly back to meet them in Sacramento. Like I was trying to get there so bad, bro. Because I already knew it was just good vibes. I felt like y'all was gonna win.
It was great vibes, and New Orleans is a hell of a place to have a national championship. Oh my
exactly.
God.
I had a great time in your city that night. A fantastic time.
You know, if I can tell you the stories, bro, it was one of the wildest nights of my entire life.
It'll be that'll be one after we hit done recording. Sorry, people watching this right now. Those ones will never be aired. But these will have a little bit of an inside scoop on Mitch and Chris's night in New Orleans that night.
We got into some real fun.
Yeah. All family clean fun though, so it was a good night.
in bed by midnight
of the next day, but yeah.
Of the next day. Oh man,
Chris, you got anything else?
I mean, not really. I think that was good. I mean,
are we good? Devonte, you got anything else you want to talk about?
We got to hit him with some football questions. I forget that football is good now. We got to hit you with some football questions.
Got to.
Not like really like in-depth shit. I'm not going to ask you about what coverage we run. I'm just mostly just going to be like, how good is it for the university?
Why do the Dallas Cowboys suck, man?
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, what happened? Shit, I forgot you're a Cowboys fan. Okay, we'll start with a little NFL. I'll ask you about the Cowboys because I remember we had a pretty good, like, you would talk your shit when we played the Cowboys, and you guys beat us that one time. I swear to God, I didn't not hear about it for like the rest of the year.
Who, the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I forgot y'all like the Chiefs.
Bro.
What do you mean?
That's why y'all want to talk football, because y'all got a real good team. Is that why?
No, I was going to talk Kansas football, and then Mitch mentioned the Cowboys suck, and it sparked some memories in my brain.
Okay.
All right, so DT, you're a big Dallas Cowboys fan. Why do they suck?
That's comedy. We had one bad game. The 49ers put it on us, you know. We're bouncing back from a bye week, you know, so
Brock Purdy, man.
All right, every year is our year though. Y'all know this.
Have you gone to any games being down in Texas?
No, bro. Let me tell y'all about that. I tried to go to the game when they was playing the Jets. I think this might have been week 1. Aaron Rodgers get hurt, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, yo, okay. I text the people from the Spurs. I'm like, yo, do y'all have the plug to get some tickets? Maybe the suite tickets, whatever. They like, all the tickets sold out. I'm like, okay, so what about the suite? Guess how much they said the suite was?
I didn't want to know.
Too much?
Guess the number.
70.
200.
Damn, 200 what?
$1.
I bet you it was probably like 20K.
It was 30.
Oh, shit.
30?
I sent back the laughing emojis.
That's 10K an hour.
No, I would not. I ain't that big of a fan.
I love the Dallas Cowboys.
I want them to win every game, but not for $30,000.
I ain't writing a check to Jerry for 30 bands.
Yeah, Jerry gonna have to have a conversation.
All right, so let's move this away from NFL and let's go to Kansas, because I mean, when you were at KU, it was the same for me and Mitch. I think we won Mitch, like 5 games.
Not a lot.
Yeah,
Not a lot.
5 games the whole time we were there. Mitch was there for like a decade. We only won 5 in that decade. How much would it have meant to have the KU football team kind of be on the prestige that it is right now when you were at Kansas?
Man, it would have been. I mean, it would have been great, bro. We supported no matter what, though. To be honest, like we went to the game, like, and it was always Coach Self even be preaching that, y'all like we would have practice early Saturday so that we can make the game if the game was at 2:00 and stuff like that. But I mean, it would have been a great time. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been even more fun at KU. Like KU already fun, the tailgates, the party, and fun. But they're winning and it's actually fun to watch the game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's huge.
For sure. I think in my experience, like we would always have the most fun like before the game, and then we go do the tailgates, and then we go into the game, and then there would be the second quarter would start, and we'd look up at the scoreboard and be like, all right, well, what are we doing now? Like,
it's time to go.
Time to go.
Oriad, we're going to the 5th floor. What?
Yeah. We're going to the Oriad, and the wheel's open. So see you guys later.
Okay, so outside of the Kansas football team being good, another new thing in the NCAA and NIL. People ask me all the time, like, who is the person that like missed out on NIL the most? Like, if they would have been here when NIL was going, and I always say you. Do you think you would have made $1 million your last year if NIL was a thing? You had to.
Hey, I would have made a good amount of money. I'm not gonna put a number on it, but yeah, I would have made $1 million.
It's crazy, dude. Like people, like I've been approached about it, like like this, and this. Like no, Devonte would have made like twice what everybody else was making. Like he had everybody in the town loved him. Everybody in the town wanted to be affiliated with him. Like the amount of companies that would have come up to you and be like, "Oh, do a commercial for us, do this for us, do that for us." Like,
thing too. I'd have been 10 times harder.
That would be the happiest guy in Lawrence.
Hey,
speaking of endorsement deals, Devonte, didn't you get after you graduated? Didn't you get a car through your connections in Lawrence?
Yep.
Talk about that situation. Like how cool is that you were able to get a car after you graduated?
No, yeah, that was dope, man. Miles, his name Miles, right?
Sharon, Mrs. Sharon.
Come on now. Miles over at Toyota, yeah, for sure. I did a commercial with him, and I got a 4Runner for free. It was like 2 years, like a 2-year deal, yeah.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
So you really were doing NIL deals. I mean, as soon as the season ended, it was like NIL open season for DT. But that's like where that's what I always say is like, dude, even after the year, like it was unheard of that people were doing commercials as soon as the year ended. And then you got really the mayor of Lawrence, the most popular player that I think Kansas has had in like a community sense. I mean, obviously you have Frank, he's National Player of the Year, a bunch of public stuff. But then you have you, who's like, as a person in the community, everybody in Lawrence loved you. You would have made some of the numbers that I've seen from these guys right now. You would have made some. You may have not
pretty good.
Yeah, you may have just chilled in Lawrence the rest of your life.
The mayor, baby.
The numbers is crazy out here.
Oh hell yeah! All right, DT, appreciate your time. That's all we got for you. Good luck this season for the Spurs. We'll be keeping up, but hey, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, my boy. Appreciate you, Mitch.